Oh, what's going on, everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United. How are we all doing today? Hope you're all doing well. We have got some gash news for you. I'm sure you've just seen it anyway. But the game against Brighton is postponed at the weekend. We're going to get into all the latest news, all the Manchester United goings on in this video, little roundup of the day's news, including that absolute gash piece of information that this game against Brighton at the weekend is no longer taking place. It's horrible, isn't it? But that is the current situation. Thank you very much, everyone who's joining us right now. We're going to cover all the latest news. Do us a favour, smash the like button at the start of this stream, or if you're watching this back later, get yourself involved in the live chat or comment down below if you're on catch up. And do get involved throughout. It is an interactive show. Let's try and, try and find some positives at this moment in time. Where, we'll see. We've got a great community of legends here. Thank you, everyone who's getting in here. Yeah, sad times, Jay, indeed, my friend. Sucks, says John Anderson. Mr. Ipswich Town says McKenna going to be our new manager. Hey, get in there, my son. Every cloud has a silver lining. You know what I mean, Mr. Ipswich Town? We're going to get into that. Hey, Gungshi, right at the start of this stream, thank you so much for being a member of this channel for 2 years. That is a massive cause for celebration. Can we get a cheeky little hashtag 2 years in the live chat and a massive soo as well? Gungshi, mate, thank you so much for supporting this show for 2 damn years, you bloody lunatic. What a legend. He says, hello, Piggy and Bacon Brigadiers. What a gash-tastic bit of news. I know it is depressing, Gungshi. It is, mate. What can you do, eh? The game is no longer underway. Thank you so much, Gungshi, for being a legend of this channel all that time, man, and longer, really. What an absolute hero. Thank you very much from the bottom of my loins. Let's get on to the latest information then, the official statement. Thank you so much, Gungers. Get those tools in there for Gungshi. This is the official statement then on the Brighton game. From Manchester United on their website. It says Manchester United can confirm that our Premier League fixture against Brighton and Hove Albion, scheduled for Saturday the 18th of December at 12:30 GMT, has been postponed and will be rescheduled in due course. Well, hopefully it's rescheduled for a bit later, because those early kickoffs are a killer. Anyway, he says the health of players and staff is our priority. Sorry, not he, Manchester United. The health of our players and staff is our priority, given the number of players and support staff having to isolate due to COVID-19. The club had no option other than to request the match be rearranged. The Premier League board took the decision to postpone based on guidance from medical advisors. We will also suspend football training operations at the Carrington Training Complex for a short period to help reduce the risk of further transmission. We regret any disappointment and inconvenience caused to fans by the postponement. Oh my goodness me, this is absolutely gash, guys. This is such bad news, honestly, for the whole of football in general, because I think this is going to be a more common theme that you see. We've seen the disruption recently. Obviously, Leicester, Tottenham's off again. There was Watford game was called off the other night. A Manchester United game against Brentford. Now Manchester United's game against Brighton. It's like this is going to happen quite a lot at this moment in time. There's even talks of a 14-day cool-off period where no football's being played at all, sort of over the festive period here, which would be absolutely gash-tastic. Because that's what it's all about, a bit of Boxing Day action. You get, yeah, it'd just be absolutely fucking horrible, wouldn't it, if we don't have any football for 2 weeks. But certainly it seems like it's pretty much going to be the way for Manchester United anyway. There was reports last night that 19 players and staff had contracted the virus, which just basically means that there's a lot of personnel within the club that are affected. And because of that, it's just a risk to continue with operations, really, because the spread of the virus can continue. There is ways of getting it, and obviously tests can be missed and all the rest of it, in terms of them getting a false negative, and these things happen, and then before you know it, you've got a few more cases on your hand. It's an absolute nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. So it will be rescheduled at a later date in due course, as will the Brentford game. But then again, maybe they won't be played. It depends how long this rumbles on for. Is this just going to be a matter of a couple of weeks of this going on, or is this going to be months? To me, I think it's probably going to be months. So very bitterly disappointing news, guys. What can you really say about it other than it's a shit show? But in all seriousness, though, obviously the health of everyone involved is the most important thing. It's all well and good, for these professional athletes who are expected to just deal with it. Not everyone does, though. Sometimes you have, like an underlying condition, and sometimes that can really exacerbate the problem. Like for instance, there was this UFC fighter called Cody Garbrandt who didn't realize he had a staph infection, and then he picked up the COVID virus, and he was like really, really ill with it for months because his body was already really weak fighting off something else. Even though he's a physically strong dude, it just got it at the wrong time with something else. So you've got to take it very seriously. And also there's other people that can be affected by not just the players, there's the staff's families and everybody involved as well. So I get it. But you've got, it just seems to me like they've got these new rules in place yesterday that they announced for fans at stadiums. But it's like, hang on, you've got this massive transmission going on there. I mean, we're going to have all this disruption in the Premier League for people with this virus. In my opinion, what they need to do is get something in place where, they just have a set number of people who've got it, and so you can't play. But if you've got less than that number, then you do play. But of course, maybe at this moment in time, it's just they don't know what to do with it. It is new horizons here. Okay, so on MEN, the update here. So yes, it's all confirmed. The Saturday's game against Brighton has been off, of course. They shut down the Carrington complex a little while ago, didn't they? And then they reopened it, but now they've closed it back down again. It's bad news. It's bad news. So, yes, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But a significant number of COVID-19 cases led to the game against Brentford FC being cancelled. And the board assesses applications to postpone matches on a case-by-case basis at this moment in time. So it is all case-by-case right now. So the Premier League would decide, the Premier League board would essentially decide which games should be going ahead based on, I guess some logistics, but also based on, how many people are affected and what sort of impact this will have in the teams training up to the tournament. Fuck me, this is absolutely shit, guys. My goodness me. Honestly, this is okay. So we don't exactly still know which damn players have got it, though. I'd love to know which players. So Manchester United had just 9 available players from the first team squad for Brentford on Tuesday. That is what we do know. So the Telegraph, anyway, reporting that United only had 9 available players from the first team squad for Brentford on Tuesday, which basically means that a lot of these players have got COVID, which was also postponed, and 7 available for the Brighton game. So we had even less available for the Brighton game, only 7 players available for the game. That's why it's been postponed. Obviously, that's from the first team. So it sounds like there's a lot of players that have been affected and have COVID right now. Loads. If there's only 7 first-team players available, then, it's a calamity. It's obviously spreading like wildfire. And that's their main concern, is that it's going to bring a halt to the Premier League for a long period of time. So maybe they're sort of trying to nip this in the bud a little bit and deal with it and just postpone these current games now. But I wouldn't be surprised if there is a break in play for a couple of weeks. We're going to have to wait and see what happens there and what more comes of it. So, we'll have to just wait and see in regards to what games are going to go ahead, when they're going to be being played. I mean, if we have a look at Manchester United's fixtures, there's probably no point of even looking, because some of these are going to be cancelled again. So next up, coming up, so we were supposed to play Brighton, but it's not happening now. So Manchester United's next game, is it the 27th of December now? Is that hold on. Is that right? We don't have a game now until the 27th of December? That is shit. That is absolutely shit. Are you serious? So we don't have any games now until the 27th, and that's whether or not that's going to go ahead. That's against Newcastle. Then we got one on the 30th against Burnley. That's terrible. So there you go. Anyway, so we'll have to wait and see what happens, but it does seem like we're going to be without Manchester United for a significant period of time. That might not even take place, obviously, the Newcastle game. It depends what's the current situation then. Liam Cartwright, how you doing, guys? Get your thoughts and opinions in about this. We have got some more news in regards to Manchester United. But obviously, we're going to deal with this main stuff, though, which is the postponement of the Brighton game. So do have your say in the live chat. I'm just going to dip in the live chat for a little bit now, see what you guys think. Do hit the like button on the video if you're just getting in here. That boosts us up the old YouTube algorithm. So smash that like. Get the subscribe hit if you're new. If you're fresh around here, then do get yourself involved in the live chat as well. We'll try and get your comments read out. So let's get into the live chat for a few minutes and just get your guys' initial reaction to the news. ESPN said no more football for a month, says ad-filling skills. Man, well, that could be the case, couldn't it? I can see something like that coming up. Certainly for a couple of weeks, they might have to have off. it's just going to be like a complete higgledy-piggledy mess right now with what's going on, because they're reviewing it on a case-by-case basis. So maybe, like we've discussed, them having a blanket break across all of football could potentially be the best thing for everybody involved, rather than just having all the fans expectant of games. You know, like if you look at that Watford game the other night, it's only 2.5 hours before kickoff that fans are told that the game's not going ahead. And so they want to avoid as many situations like that as possible. And plus, they just want to avoid the spread. And so it wouldn't surprise me. Let's have a little vote in the live chat. Not what you want to happen, because I know all of us want to see football continue. But what do you think is going to happen, you know, in regards to what the Premier League decide to do, and maybe what the government also decide to do, but certainly in regards to the Premier League? Do you think we're heading for a break? Smash a 1 in the live chat if you think that's what's going to happen, or smash a 2 in the live chat if you think they'll just continue and just do this on a case-by-case basis. Hey, Devils United, how you doing there? Luan, France, great to see you as well. You've had it with COVID. I know, me too, lad. It's a fucking nightmare. Do you think maybe it's best to have a 10 to 14-day circuit? Like, I think you might be right there, just in terms of making it a level playing field for everybody then, and then just sort of latching on 2 extra weeks at the end of the season, I guess is what you'd have to do. Total lockdown, says Anthony White thinks 1, Devils United thinks 1, Malps and Gungshi, Adam, Luan, France, Eamon Barrett, Sonny. All you guys agree then that you think the most likely thing is that we have a break? Yeah, yeah, probably. I think you guys are right. Man, this is depressing. I don't know what a shit Christmas present this is, eh, guys? Manchester United, all of our players have got COVID basically at the moment, and there's going to be no fixtures for an indefinite period of time. And all of football's going to be affected as well. It seems like they probably will bring in a break for a little bit of time too. Nathan Woodward agrees, also does Liang Ziwen, Ivan too, Simon Cowie, how you doing there, Simon? Yeah, Adfording, it's truly gash news, mate. It's truly gash news. K Slater 23, how are you today, sir? He says clubs are pushing Premier Leagues to close and reopen January 8th, 9th of 2022. So that's nearly a month, that is. So this is quite interesting. So, you know, Samuel Luckhurst over at MEN, this is what he said. He said he got the boost this morning, no queue and barely any wait for appointment slot. Premier League urgently need to show transparency with vaccine uptake among players. Not just league in general, but per club. Supporters are by and large doing their bit. What about the players? I mean, I don't know how you can... Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's a fair point in terms of transparency and wanting to know who's vaxxed and who's not vaxxed. But at the end of the day, it's like, this is turning into some Orwellian Big Brother controlled by the state type shit. You know, and I've been vaxxed and I approve of the vaccinations, but I also support somebody's right to not be vaxxed, and also support somebody's right to sort of have that information private, really. You know what I mean? Like, otherwise, what are we doing? Like, I think it's just getting a little bit too much like the Bourne Identity here or something, where you're just being watched and everybody's got all your information all the time. It's like, come on, we got to draw the line somewhere. So that might be something you guys disagree with. You know, I also understand the need for controlling this sort of spread of this virus, and for identifying who's had it and who's not had it, and for trying to encourage people to have it. But at the same time, you know, you can't, like, they're on about penalising players and docking them wages for having to isolate for 10 days if they're unvaccinated, because that's what the protocols are. If they were to get it, or, you know, if, I don't know exactly what the situation is, but because they're unvaccinated, they have to isolate for longer. And so there's clubs that are debating whether or not to dock players' wages if that happens to them because they've not been vaxxed. So things like that, I just don't really agree with that personally. Gungchi, thank you very much for getting in here with your free 30 NT super sticker. I appreciate you. Oh, super chat, I should say. Thank you so much, Gungchi, for getting in here, lad. He says, we knew there was a spread of Omicron amongst Spurs and Norwich players, but they went ahead with the United versus Norwich game as though there'd be no consequences. Double daymare all round. Fair point, Gungchi. Yes, and at this moment in time, there are going to be some transmissions that take place with these games that are being played. You know, last night there was a few games that were played. I wonder if there was anything that was picked up there. Tonight, you've got games, of course. There's the Leicester-Tottenham game, which has been postponed due to those players, not being able to or those teams not being able to field the necessary amount of players either, and being affected by COVID. Chelsea versus Everton tonight, and Liverpool versus Newcastle tonight as well. These fixtures are, at this moment in time, due to go ahead. But this is from less than a minute ago on the BBC, a new bit of information here. So the EFL... Listen to this, a quarter of players not intending to get COVID-19 vaccine as more games postponed. So over a quarter of the players in the Premier League have basically said that they're not going to get it. So this is the situation. Gungshi, sorry, mate. Oh no, I did read it. Gungshi, it is an absolute double day, man. Let's get a super chat emoji in there for Gungshi. I thought I just zoned out halfway through your comment and went over to this, but no. Gungshi, thank you so much for your support there with the super chat, and I totally agree they should have not really done that, knowing that they could have been spread from further players here. But listen, this is new information. A quarter of players not intending to get COVID-19 vaccine as more games are postponed. So the English Football League says that 25% of players at its member clubs do not intend to get a vaccine against COVID-19. Tighter protocols at first team training grounds and more regular testing have been enforced. It follows the postponement of more fixtures scheduled to be played on Saturday across all 3 divisions. So we've got updated guidance on the minimum number of available players required to fulfill a fixture has also been passed on. So a bit of interesting information. Saturday's postponed EFL matches. I mean, you've got 4 matches on Saturday that are postponed due to COVID in the Championship. Cardiff v Derby, Millwall, Preston, QPR, Swansea, Reading, Luton, all postponed in the Championship. League One has 4 fixtures postponed already. League Two has 3 fixtures postponed, and the Premier League's seen 4 or so fixtures postponed just this week as well. So this is a big problem. It's not going away at this moment in time. Maybe the best thing is just to have a blanket break for a couple of weeks and re-adjourn when maybe it's, I'm going to say maybe it's gone away, but I don't think it is going away. You know what I mean? Like I said, I think we should have a COVID league. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are fit professional athletes. Come on. Half of them are probably asymptomatic. Get them out there in a 5-a-side team with a futsal ball and just have all the officials, all the managers, all the staff, all the players, they all have to be COVID positive. And so it's fair for everyone then. Then we still get to watch a futsal 5-a-side league with the players, get to watch that footy every week. And there's no risk of anyone getting COVID because they've already got it all. I mean, it would, I honestly think that's the solution here for the festive period. Let's have a C League. You know what I mean? No, in all seriousness, no. It would, it's going to be depressing not having the football on for a period of time. But if it's for the best thing for the football and for the people involved and for the stopping the spread of the virus, then of course I would approve of it, because we want to get our football back sooner rather than later. And I'm not saying that would be the case, but you would think hopefully if they could stop the transmission, the spread of it from happening for a good period of time, then maybe when we get back at it, then it's not going to be so on top. Or maybe it will just continue again right the moment they re-adjourn and they'll have exactly the same problems. This is a horror show. It's a horror show. What a couple of years we've had here. Oh, thank you very much for the updates that are coming through here. Really, really appreciate you, by the way, Mr. Rushmano. We've got some more information coming out about this from James Ducker here from The Telegraph. He says there were more confirmed positive tests at United today. So only 7 first-team players, of course, would have been available to face Brighton due to isolations and injuries. That match, like Brentford on Tuesday, has been postponed. So 7 first-team players were only available to face Brighton, and more positive tests confirmed at United today. That's the latest news from just 2 minutes ago. Let's get that on the screen, because that is horrible. That is horrible. More actual cases. Here we go. So this is the update here. There were more confirmed positive cases at United today. Only 7 first-team players would have been available to face Brighton due to isolations and injuries. That match, like Brentford on Tuesday, has been postponed. So there you go, peeps. That is it. More COVID cases every single day at Manchester United, so it's not going away. Oh, man, this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. I don't even have anything fun to say anymore. This is awful. It's absolutely awful. Okay, so, yeah. I'm just going to get into the live chat for 2 more minutes about this COVID stuff and the postponement stuff, and then we're going to get onto the rest of the Man United news and the other bits of info we've got for today. But once again, if you're just getting in the show, do smash the like button on it, give it a share on Twitter or wherever if you fancy, and get yourself involved in the live chat here for a couple of minutes here. Right then, so Eamon Barrett's an absolute mess. They should have learned from last season. Jonathan Gallagher says, Simon Coward, people have the right to decide what they want. Simon says, Piggott, has to be government, has to make it a law that all sports personalities and staff must be vaccinated or they are ineligible to play. To beat this, we need 90 to 95% of the population vaccinated. Fair play, Simon. I think somebody came in here yesterday and said something like that's the case in Australia or a different country, wherever it was, about the sports. But me personally, Simon, I mean, I kind of disagree. I do disagree. I don't think you can force anybody to have a jab of something they don't want to put in their body. I mean, you know, there could be somebody that has a bad reaction to it. You know, would you still have that attitude if, you know, Victor Lindelof passed away, or somebody or whoever passed away from a chat? I'm not saying that would happen, but that does happen. That does happen to people perfectly fit and healthy. They've had some bad reactions. I'm not saying that would happen. Obviously, you have to weigh it up against the real dangers of the virus, which seem to outweigh the small, tiny percentage of people that would have any complications with the vaccine. But you've got to respect people's choice to decide, and you can't just stop somebody's livelihood because they have chosen not to put something in their body that they're not 100% sure about. I've had the vaccine. I'm all for vaccine, just so you know. But I also respect people's right to choose whether or not to have it or not. And so I mean, I've got a bit of a different stance on that. What are you going to watch on Saturday, says Maz? You're going to have to get yourself on this channel, mate. We're going to do a career mode or some shite to do with Manchester United. I don't know. Yes, exactly, Gungshi. Only Don Piglioni can save us in these times. He's going to have to come back on the daily, I think, Gungers. I mean, what else am I going to do, mate? What else am I going to do? If we have to be vaccinated to go in stadiums, why don't the players, says Berber. I mean, that's a very good point as well, but I don't actually think you have to be vaccinated to go in stadiums. I think you just have to produce a test within 48 hours to say that you're clean if you're unvaccinated. At least that's what it said yesterday when we looked at the new updates. That it may have changed since then, so, you know, I'm not exactly sure about that. But I'm pretty sure you can still attend a game if you're unvaccinated, as long as you've got proof of having a clean test in the last 48 hours, and you've gone on the club's website and filled in the necessary forms and all that kind of stuff. Still plenty of transfer news. That's true, Rushmana. We'll have the regular transfer news for you because obviously the January window's coming up, and United probably will be doing some business in this window, certainly with a couple of players going out, and also hopefully a midfielder coming in. So we'll see what happens in the window, and we'll give you all the latest news on regards to that. That is literally opening up in 2 weeks' time. So there will be quite a bit of news in regards to transfers, I'm sure. I'm thinking Martial's going, Lingard's going. There might even be another surprise, somebody going out, because I think Rangnick's going to be reasonably ruthless in this window, just getting rid of a couple. And then also he wants to raise a bit of cash, clear a bit of money off the books so he can sign a player or two himself. So it could be a busy January. As far as January's go, you know, United haven't recently done that much business in Jan. But as far as January's go, I think this is going to be a busy one for United. So that is a good point. We should have regular updates in regards to any transfer news. Jaden says, Pig, more FIFA live streams incoming while we wait, and that's definitely going to happen as well. I'll also do some other random gaming streams over on the gaming channel, Flying Pig Gaming. That's nearly at 2,000 subscribers. Actually, go over and hit Flying Pig Gaming up and subscribe to Flying Pig Gaming if you're not subscribed. Hey, we got a Man City fan in here. What's going on, Stephen Dempster? He says, this is an absolute joke. It's just not United, but all the clubs in every division should be not pay the players their wages if they haven't had the jabs. Okay, so we got a lot of strong opinion on this. Stephen, let's think about this. Let's have a debate. Personally, I say I don't see how you can make people have a jab. And why does that, you know, in terms of affecting it, it does affect it longer because obviously they've got to isolate for the 10 days then. And some people aren't even COVID-free after that period of time. So it does affect it. Now, if you're vaccinated, though, it doesn't stop this. I think people think if you're vaccinated, it stops you getting the virus. It doesn't. It doesn't stop you spreading the virus either. So all it does is obviously maybe your recovery times can be quicker. Your chances of fighting off the virus is way higher because you've already got antibodies, you've already dealt with it. You've already got that immunity to it to some degree because you've had the antibodies from the vaccine and all the rest of it, right? But it doesn't stop you from getting it, and it doesn't stop you from passing it on. Like my brother in America just recently had it. He's had the vaccine. He had the Pfizer vaccine or whatever, and he had COVID and he was ill and he had to isolate away from his family for 10 days because otherwise they'd have all got it. You know what I mean? So it doesn't actually stop being vaccinated. Doesn't stop you from spreading it around. It just stops you from being much more ill from it. But it in terms of actual, you know, that I don't know how you can make somebody. Let's have a vote in the live chat. Do you think that players should only be allowed to play if they are vaccinated? Yes or no? Do you think that players should only be allowed to play if they're vaccinated? Yes or no? Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Just get a yes or a no in there. Yeah, exactly. You can still get COVID even if you're vaccinated, Fergie99. So I don't really see the distinction. What is the point? What is the point? No, says Brownie. Yes, says Steady Woodward. No, says Devils United. No, says Jaden. Yes, says Sam Gaming. No, says Mark Bandoyle. No, says Fergie99. Hey, great to have you all in here, Brownie, Devils United, Steady Woodward. How you all doing today? Absolutely not, says Jaden. Stephen Dempster says, yes, you should have to be vaccinated. Most people say no. I am in the no camp because what does being vaccinated actually do? In all fairness, it stops them from being more ill, which I guess means that the recovery time would be quicker for a vaccinated player. I'm aware of that. But they still have to isolate away. They still can get the virus and they can still contract it, transmit the virus and pass it on. So what's the major difference? It's just like, you know, it's like having an extra sick note player. It's like instead of having Roy Keane, you've just got Darren Anderton or whatever who's going to be out longer. Instead of having somebody robust, you know, instead of having a strong man, you've got a sick note player, basically. That's what it is. But it doesn't really stop them doing anything of regards to transmitting it or anything like that. It just means their recovery is going to be a bit longer, which I mean the disruption would be a bit longer. But you're just going to have to accept that you've got Darren Anderton in your team if you've got an unvaxxed player. Randon says the point of the vaccine is to stop the NHS collapsing. Yeah, absolutely. Well, they've got like 80% of the population vaccinated now, I believe. So it's like, in terms of the massive damage that it should have, you know, that it could cause, I guess it should be a lot more controllable now if 80% of the population are vaxxed, right? Or whatever the number is. Last I heard, it was around that. So come on. I mean, that's I don't know. I just support somebody's right to not be vaxxed. I'm vaxxed. I think you should get vaxxed. If you're watching this right now, you probably should get the vax. But I also support people's right not to have the vax. And sometimes people have other conditions as well, where maybe just the vaccine in itself would cause some complications. So I don't know. Drew says, check the number. The vaccine has saved many lives. Totally agree with you, Drew. If you listen to the science, you know, which I do, I don't believe the conspiracy theorists who say that the government are trying to fucking kill us and are trying to, you know, put something in our bodies that's gonna, you know, give us all these complications further down the line, or they're just trying to make money and all this business. I don't really believe in any of that. I personally think that the figures that they've told us of people who have died since the vaccinations have been rolled out, and the amount of people percentage-wise who survive and the mortality rates of those people from vaccinated to unvaccinated over that period of time, unless they're lying through their hind teeth about that, then vaccinations do work. Of course they do. They give you that. They help you defend against the virus. They give you a little bit of it. Your body deals with it. It builds up an immunity to it. You get the antibodies. And, you know, what they're telling us now is you need boosters and stuff, especially for these new variants, in order to deal with it. I had some guff yesterday. I don't know where they're getting these figures from, but, you know, if having the booster jab gives you a 75% more immunity for the Omicron variant or something like that. You know, if that's the case, then if that's actually legit science, which I don't know if that is, but you know, then that sounds like we should all have it. You know what I mean? Like it sounds like we should. And if you look at the number of people that have died from the vaccination jabs or directly, you know, from complications from that compared to people who are dying from being unvaccinated, then I think that the contrast is stark, to be fair. Football with Brownie lad, get in there. He says, hold on a second. Football with Brownie says, if I was a player and you see other players collapsing, then you wouldn't. I wish I'd done more education on the vaccine before I had mine. Fair play, Football with Brownie. I mean, yes, you've seen a couple of players collapsing, but I mean, I wouldn't say it's, you know, I wouldn't say it's any more than normal, is it? I mean, a couple of years ago, there was that Italian guy, you know, Fabrice Muambra stuff. I mean, I guess maybe there has been a few this season, actually, like in one go. So maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, but nobody's died, have they, this year? It's just like a couple of people have, you know, I mean, Rangnick said after that game against, who was it against when Lindelof came off? He said that it was from a chest impact or something, but I don't know. I mean, they're obviously having tests and things like that, so I don't know who the fuck. I'm not a doctor, but yeah, fair point. I mean, if there is statistically more people dying from it now, which I don't know if it's the case or not, then that is a concern. As in footballers having cardiacs and things like that. If that's up, then, you know, yeah. Gungshi, mate, thank you very much for the super chat, lad. He says, we all need to be injected with Chuck Norris's blood. Or Don Piglione's. That would stop the COVID in its tracks. Hey, great shout, Gungshi, mate. I like your style on that one, man. Yeah, mate, you know, that's it. you know, Chuck Norris isn't scared of COVID, is he, mate? COVID is scared of Chuck Norris. All we need to do, actually, is just send Chuck Norris in there, mate. Chuck Norris's blood, actually, would probably be good, Gunshi. You're spot on with that. Gunshi, thank you so much. Let's get a Saw emoji in there for Gungas. Another super chat from Gunshi. Thank you, man. Hey, Zayn Miasi's getting in here with his Arsenal scummer vibes with a goal super sticker. Fair play to Zayn Miasi with a goal super sticker. Hey, they did well last night, didn't they? Yeah, nice one. Got the win against West Ham there. Yeah, fair play. In the top 4 for the time being. And they won't shut up about this now. You know, they'll want the bloody season to end now, won't they? But, yeah, in all fairness, we've got a game in hand. We've got a game in hand on Zayn Miasi anyway. But thank you very much for the 17.99 super sticker, the goal emoji. Come on. Let's go. Let's get another super chat in there. Appreciate that. Malps, mate, how you doing? I don't trust the government. They had an Xmas party last year. Oh man, Zane says we're above you. I'll get some cigars dropped off to you to put in your pipe and smoke it. Says Zane Miasi. We got a game in hand on you, Zane, mate. We got a game in hand on you. Man, oh man, it's so funny, isn't it? Arsenal fans actually think they're a big club. They actually think they're going to finish up there. It's hilarious. Having a stinker. Zlatan will destroy Omicron, says Malps. Sam Gaming says we would call up the academy to play the game and not use the people who have tested positive. Okay, Sam Gaming. So I thought about that too, but it's understood that United only had 7 first-team players available, which means that, you know, we're just going to lose. We're likely to lose the game, and the preparations of everybody involved would be affected. We don't even know what staff members have got it as well. What if some of the key coaching staff have had it? In which case we're all screwed. Yeah, don't get too political. Oh yeah, Zane, I'm going to delete that comment actually, mate. I just don't really want politics shite in the live chat, mate. Yeah, forget that. This is a football channel, mate. We're going to remove that shit. Coachy says, let's not get too political, please, guys. It never ends well. I totally agree with that. Politics, if in Latin, poly means many, and ticks, well, they're just parasites, aren't they? That's what I think of politics, mate. Many parasites. No need to talk about them. Or, well, it is obviously, of course, in there to govern the state of to govern society, so it's kind of important. Hey, we got 59 likes on the stream, says Rushmano. Get in there. We can do better than that. Let's have a good old-fashioned Bacon Brigade. Like, spike, hit the thumbs up on the vid if you haven't done so. Let's get this to 100 likes. But let me just get into some of the latest news as well that I wanted to talk about in regards to United as well. So we'll get back into that in the Q&A in a little bit. But in regards to United news, there are some latest bits of information that we're going to discuss. So Dean Henderson has always been respectful and professional, but he's now prepared to leave Manchester United. His priority is to play. Whether it will happen in January or summer, it will depend on the offers. No talks ongoing with Ajax as things stand. So this was the latest update from Fab earlier on today in regards to Henderson. So like we say, we could have a bit of a busy January window because there's Martial who's looking to go. Teams may be looking to loan him with an option to buy, maybe Barcelona seeing as they're strapped for cash. You've also got Jesse Lingard is interested and wanted by several clubs, including Everton, West Ham, Newcastle. So he may be well out the door in January. You've also got now Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson is not going to play much at United because David De Gea is just clearly the number one. He's the best goalkeeper in the league this season, in my opinion, based on form and just how he's been performing. Consistent for United, our best player. Most of the games this season, or a lot of the games this season, you know, he's kept us in a lot of these games. And without him, we would be struggling even more so. So definitely Davide De Gea is the number one. Dean Henderson's also a number one, though, in the sense that he's good enough to play for a good team as their number one. And he's also, you know, wants to try and get into the England setup. If he's going to have a chance of doing that, he's going to have to go somewhere and play football. He's not going to do that sat on the bench at Manchester United. So Henderson going potentially, away from us this January, possibly on a loan option. Maybe United keep ownership of this player for a couple more seasons and we loan him out and we just allow him to develop at other teams. And one day when David De Gea does leave Manchester United, then maybe Henderson comes in and takes our number one spot. Or what I think is more realistic is we just sell him or loan him with an option to buy for a club and then he ends up going. Because the reason I say that is De Gea, he's not slowing down anytime soon. He's still young. He's still young for a goalkeeper. And I think he could probably play, United to a top standard. He's 36. Or maybe even beyond that. Goalkeepers these days, especially, they can play on until they're 40. And certainly 35, 36, you're absolutely fine as a goalkeeper. 32, 33, 34, this is his prime. He's in his prime right now. So we've got the best David De Gea. We don't want to get rid of him in the next couple of seasons, I don't think. Henderson, on the other hand, he's still developing. What is he, 25, 26? He's on way too much money, about 120, 30,000 pounds a week, which is too much money for a backup goalkeeper. We're just wasting money there. That money could be spent on getting an actual proper good midfielder in or some other player in the club, rather than just wasting it on a backup. We've already got Heaton, you've got Grant there. You don't need to have Dean Henderson, really. He's just a backup. But he's too good to be a backup. So from his point of view, he's not happy. Of course, you wouldn't be. He wants to play some football. He's only played a couple of times this season for United at all, and he's just not getting a look in. And if I was him, I'd be looking to move away as well. So what do you think, guys? Sell, keep, or loan Dean Henderson? What do you think in January? Sell, keep, or loan Dean Henderson? Let me know in the live chat what you guys are feeling. I think we should just sell him, to be honest. Use the money to buy another player in a key area and get some of that big wages off the books. He's on too much money. Loan says Coda. Jonathan says sell. Edgar says sell. And Josh Lee says sell. STP says sell with an option to buy back. That's an interesting shout. Actually, I like that shout, STP Mitchell. That's a brilliant shout you just put in the chat. Because in the future, when David does go in 2, 3, 4 years' time, we would quite like to have the option of having Henderson, especially if he's been somewhere playing regularly and developed, and at that time he's a 29-year-old goalkeeper in his prime. I would say that's a really good point. Yeah, so maybe with an option to buy would be a good way to go about it. Osper Twinger says MUFC should force players to be vaccinated. Right, I'm going to get this in the poll. I'm going to get a poll in the chat. This is a contentious issue. Should players be forced to be vaccinated to play? Yes or no? I'm going to ask the live chat. Should players... No, wait, I just said should, not forced. I just said should... that's a bit poor wording. Should players be vaccinated in order to play? That's what I'm going to ask you in the live chat. So most of you saying sell. Paul Burgess says sell. Simon Cow thinks we should keep him, though. But keep him in what capacity, though? Because he's only going to play over a handful of games. Unless you think we should sell David De Gea, which I don't personally agree with. I'm going to ask the community then. I've just got a poll up in the live chat. Do have your say. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that players should be vaccinated in order to play? And if they're not vaccinated, they have to be... they're not allowed to play. Simple as that. Should players be vaccinated in order to play? Wow, okay. My vote is definitely a no on that one. I personally don't think no. I don't see what it really does. I personally think you've got the players can still get the COVID and be unwell from it and have to isolate even if they are vaccinated. Yes, says Pedro. Sell, says Randon Lewis. Sell, says Frank. So most of you guys are quite happy to see Dane Henderson go, especially if we do get somebody else in, to help us and in a different area. I think we'd all agree with that. Thank you, Rushmano. He says subscribe to the channel. Yeah, peeps, if you're new, smash that subscribe button. We'll give you all the latest United news as and when it comes over the next, couple of weeks. I guess we've got some, lots of transfer news and stuff coming, but other than that, there's not going to be any football for a little while. Hey, Sin Games, how you doing today? Great to see you, boss. How you going? Bell says, no, it makes no fucking difference. That's kind of what I think. The only difference I could see it making is maybe, obviously, it increases the likeliness that the players are going to get better sooner, or they're not going to feel any effects at all, I guess. I guess it increases that chance, but it doesn't stop them from getting it or transmitting it or anything. Sell David and Henderson and make Heaton the first keeper, says Coda. What? You think we should sell David, Coda? That's wild, man. Okay, I'll ask the chat, who's your number one goalkeeper, everybody? Get a De Gea in the live chat or a Henderson in the live chat if you think that Henderson should take over the mantle. But I don't see how anybody could really think that, because De Gea has been the best goalkeeper in the league this season. Hart says loan. Brain says sell. Mark Bandoyle, fair play. Tom Heaton's fine at number 2, says Eamon Barrett. Me too, I agree with you. You don't need 2 number 1s. It's good to have a bit of competition. But, when in the Schmeichel days, you had bloody Raymond van der Gaal or whatever, you don't need to, in the Van der Sar days, you've got Thomas Kuszczak or whoever. You don't need 2 number 1s. What's the point of that? You don't need 2 number 1 goalkeepers. You need 1 really, really good number 1, and then a backup goalkeeper to come in and do a job as and when you need him. What we were doing even with Sergio Romero was kind of weird. It's quite unusual, in my opinion, to have a goalkeeper who comes in for your cups and plays like the second fiddle, and then one who just plays. It's almost implicating or suggesting that the number one goalkeeper can't play enough games. I don't know, it's strange. Everyone in the live chat says De Gea apart from Sam Gaming, says Henderson. Yeah, De Gea is clearly the best player out of the two right now. Not saying that Henderson in the future cannot get better. He's still mid-20s. He's got a lot of developing left to do still as a goalkeeper. So I expect him to have a great career, but I just think David De Gea is leagues above at this moment. Hayden Scales says Davide. Nice. Thank you, Bell. Says like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate that, man. De Gea wants to go. If not for COVID, he would have gone already, says Sin Games. I'm not so sure. He seems quite committed to the club. I mean, I know he's paid ridiculously well here, arguably more than he could be paid anywhere else, arguably. But still, he's been pretty loyal to United and put in great performances. And let's face it, over the last 10 or 11 years that he's actually been at the club, he's got player of the season like half the time. He's definitely earned his keep at the club. I don't think he wants to leave. I know there's been moments in the past when it's been rumoured and there's been talks that he was leaving. But I think a lot of that is just to get a new big contract and then he's happy, That's kind of what I think. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're right. There has been rumblings of him wanting to go back to Spain before in the past. But he's one of the few players that seems to have the right attitude at United in regards to understanding the club and the consistency of performances and expecting more from his teammates and all the rest of it. Come on, he saved us a lot of times, and I know what you're saying, though. Maybe one day he would like to finish his career back off in Spain. PS says, how much gravel you want in Piggy's voice? Just unload the fucking truck. It's not too bad today, is it, PS? I haven't got my Sean Dyche voice on, so Sean Dyche will be a bit pissed off at the moment with all this COVID. Could you imagine if Sean Dyche got COVID? Have you ever heard anybody's voice after they've had COVID? They go from sounding like angels to sounding like Sean Dyche. What's Sean Dyche going to sound like if he got COVID? My goodness me. He'll probably be like, hello, my name's Sean Dyche, and I'm Burnley's manager. I reckon it'd be like that. I mean, anyway, it would be intense, is what it would be. It would be intense. Could you imagine? Could you just imagine? Imagine Sean Dyche with a sore throat. Man, that's a scary prospect. It probably just sounds like a raspy, like one of those cards, and you put it in your spokes of your wheel when you're a kid going along on the bicycle. It probably just goes. I don't know. It probably just vibrates non-stop. His voice sounds like Kane from WWF when he's got the old looking like the voice box on his thing. My name is Sean Dyche. It probably just turns into proper Dyche mode. Anyway, nice one, PS. My name is Sean Dyche and I have COVID. I mean, it's a scary prospect. Yeah, Sean Dyche with a sore throat probably makes him sound normal, says Ian Dawn. That would actually be so funny. He just comes in and he goes, hello, my name's Sean Dyche. Nice one. Guys, hit the like button. We're nearly at 100 likes. Smash the like. We've got to get to 100 likes on this stream today. We're going to stick around for a while anyway and do a Q&A at the end of the show. But for now, I'm going to just cover the latest United news. So forgive me, I went off on a side tangent there about Dyche. So 7 more positive tests. Only 7 first-team players available for the Brighton game, I should say. And more positive tests today. That's the latest update in regards to that. And you know what's happened, the postponement of the Brighton game. So I want to talk about this. Come on, my son. Kieran McKenna has been granted permission to speak to Ipswich Town about their vacant managerial role. Get in there, my son. I think this is good news, guys. Not good news. He's not been good for us, has he? Hashtag McKenna out. I'm sorry, but what has that guy actually done for us lately, in the words of Janet Jackson? Hashtag McKenna out, mate. I'm fucking buzzing about this. A new fresh start, a new change. Hopefully Rangnick can get somebody in, somebody more technical, or maybe he's just going to hold the baton down until the summer and he is going to hand over to somebody else in the summer and then they'll get the coaching stuff in. We'll have to wait and see. But Kieran McKenna gone. I'm pretty happy about it if it takes place. So talks are ongoing. Man United will not stand in his way as it's viewed as a great opportunity for McKenna. So McKenna might get his opportunity as his first managerial role here at Ipswich as their vacant manager. So I think this is brilliant news, guys. Come on, get in there, my son. Hashtag McKenna out. They should have gone at the same time as Ollie, in my humble opinion. Now, I know Carrick stayed in a caretaker capacity, and what a man Carrick is, because he actually resigned. I believe Carrick, when he resigned, obviously, he as a resignation, that means that he's walking away from, essentially his compensation or his contract. I believe that's the case. Of course it is. So he's just given away. That's pretty noble from Michael Carrick, pretty noble from Carrick. But McKenna and Phelan, they're still knocking around the gaff. I personally would like to see a change. Now, I don't know if that's going to come in with the new person coming in the summer or if Rangnick stays. But I would expect there would be a good positive effect if we got a totally different coaching staff. I know you sometimes need to have a link between the previous regime, the current regime, or the playing staff, or the new manager. But I actually disagree. I think we need somebody to come in with a team of assembled people that they want in every single role that they've got in the club. The first team coach, the under 23s, even. The assistant manager, the fucking video analysis guy, the cone boy. They should fucking choose everyone. You know what I mean? So that's definitely what I think. But anyway, got my third dose today. Moderna, all good so far. Ian Dawn, get in there, my son. That's good news, my son. I hope you feel good and hopefully you're not too tired over the next 24 hours. But get in there. That's positive news, lad. Come on. So yeah, I'm going to put my booster up at some point soon as well. I've had my first two. I'm going to put my booster up soon. A quarter of players not intended to get COVID-19 vaccine as more games postponed. That's a big piece of news that came out. The Premier League are aware of 25% of players at its member clubs that do not intend to get the vaccine. So there's this whole debate about whether or not there should be vaccine ruling right now, whether or not players should be not allowed to play if they've got a vaccine. So do have a vote in the live chat. 74 of you legends have voted. Should players be vaccinated in order to play? 59% say yes, 41% say no at this moment in time. Okay, so that's the Dean Henderson news. So Dean Henderson may well be off in January, either on a loan basis somewhere where it's good for him, I think, where he could develop himself and actually get game time, maybe have a shot at getting in the England team. This is what he needs. He's not going to do that at United. So I think it's good news all round. But I actually would like United to sell him in order to generate cash and get the player off our books so we can go and get another player in a position we need him. So hopefully that's what happens in January. Somebody might come in for Henderson. We'll have to wait and see. He's a good standard goalkeeper. How much money do you think that Henderson is worth in this current market, everyone? Let me know your thoughts in pounds sterling. I think you've got to ask for 40 million for Dean Henderson, or 35, maybe 30 or 35 million. Ramsdale went for 30. I would say that Henderson's got to be at least that, plus a little bit more, really, in my opinion. So I would say, let's go with 30 mil, 35 mil. We paid, in terms of what we're paying him, we're paying quite a lot. Gungshi says, I think they should get the jab, but should be forced? What if they had a rare adverse reaction? Exactly, Gungshi. I don't think nobody should be forced to have anything. And if they do have an adverse reaction and die, which some people have, then families are left without loved ones for a disease that maybe at their age they could have just fought off without too much dramas. That's kind of what I think. I think older people getting the vaccine, absolutely, the risk of getting the disease is so high. But if you're a younger professional athlete who's super fucking fit, it's like, are you really that bothered about getting it? Because you're probably going to eat it up for dinner in terms of it affecting you. It's just going to be like another cold or flu or whatever. Let's be honest. I know it's worse than those things. Don't get me wrong. I know it's worse. But if you're a professional footballer, super fit, you'd expect them to be okay. I mean, remember at the start of all this business when COVID was first coming out, there were sportsmen that contracted the virus before those vaccines around, and they more or less all of them seem to do okay. And I can't think of, somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. I can't think of one footballer or one current footballer who got COVID before the vaccines were around that had any complications really. Maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong. But I know, I just don't think if you're a young fit person, the risks are as high as for other people. That's just my opinion. Whereas if you got the jab and had an adverse reaction to it, then that could end your life right there. It's a very tiny percentage. I've had my jabs once again, just to be clear. So yeah. Anyway, Lone Henderson, he's a wonderful servant to the club, says Luan France. Yes, agree, fair enough, and he could develop elsewhere, somewhere else, and get a better development than he is at Manchester United here. Rushmano says Slabby gets a hard time, but Varane will improve him, says Rushmano. Is that a joke, Rushmano? Sorry, is that a joke comment? Surely that's not a serious comment, is it, mate? You what? Hang on a second. Guys, I'm pretty sure G-Wolf has just hacked Rushmalo's account. Wait a second. Hang on. G-Wolf, mate. Drew Who says Ramsdale is a special talent. He's definitely future England keeper. I think so too. I think he's a great player, but I think you're doing Henderson a bit dirty. Henderson's a very good keeper. We just haven't been seeing the guy play, so he's not really been able to impress or get in the conversation. But actually, Henderson's a very good player for the next few years as well. FIFA Zombie says all this conspiracy bullshit. This virus came from China apparently, but all the COVID test kits we have at home say made in China on the box. It's a mess and a joke. Yeah, fair play, FIFA Zombie. That is a great shout, mate. And a lot of the masks and all sorts of stuff's coming from China, mate. Spot on. Hydera is twerking for United. Well, in my opinion, we should stop the reliance on China. I always look at things where they're manufactured these days, and if I can, and it's not 10 times more expensive, then I will try and buy a British-made product or a European-made product or something like that, rather than something made in China. That's not being xenophobic, that's not being racist, that's just being, understanding that manufacturing now is mostly taking place in China, and if you want to get some sort of more independence back as a nation and have less reliance on China. I mean, that is one of the things that Donald Trump said that I actually agree with in terms of you need to get away from having a reliance on, any other nation, really. You don't want to rely on a nation manufacturing your face masks. You know what I mean? You need to be able to deal with that stuff yourself and build towards being more self-sustaining, especially now that we've got Brexit in this country. I think that having, more self-sufficiency is just what we should be aiming for. So yeah, it's not being xenophobic. It's just literally being aware that we're hurting ourselves by buying a lot of things from China. Someone's making profit from this virus. You're damn right, FIFA Zombie. You're damn right about that, lad. One confirmed Omicron-related death. Let's not start fear-mongering now, says Airborne Assassin. Fair play, lad. Is that true? Very true. We create nothing now apart from potatoes and carrots, says Palmerius. Yeah, right, absolutely. I know everything's coming from abroad. We used to have the steel works in the country, and all sorts of stuff was, a lot of electronics were made in the UK. I know still a lot of computer software and or even computer components and things like that are still made here. But at one point, it's like we were manufacturing all the components and the plastics and the circuit boards and all that stuff back in, the 70s, 80s, all these companies. Not anymore. It's all fucking coming from China. And so, yeah. Talk about Hydera, says Naz786. Well, I'll give you the update on that in a minute once I've got to the next topic, you rude bastard. Is it true the game is off on Saturday? Yes, Vincent, but the game's off, mate. Sorry to tell you. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, lad. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. We did cover all that Hydera business yesterday, actually, Naz786, in regards to his quotes, saying that he would love to join Manchester United. That's his dream, growing up watching Cristiano Ronaldo, etc. And also, the fact that he loves Rangnick and his time at Leipzig. He says he's very grateful for what Rangnick did to him. And he loves Rangnick and all the rest of it. So I definitely think that Hydera is probably the most likely player we could sign in January at this stage. There's talks of De Jong. There's talks of other players, but I think Hydera is actually a really great shout because he's got a release clause in his contract. I think it's £32 million. Oh, excuse me, bit of a wheezer there. He's got about £32 million release clause in his contract, from what we understand. So he's available at not too much of a price. He's only 23. He's had a good career so far. Looks a good player. Athletic, box-to-box. Defensive-minded midfielder also, though, but box-to-box midfielder. Quick, young, only getting better. Has a relationship with Rangnick. Sounds like that one could be a real go-ahead for me. So I think that, yeah, Hydera is a great shout. Hydera is the most realistic signing we can make this January. And one of the most needed signings, because we do need somebody in that position to come in and help us out or improve us, because we're shite in the midfield. In regards to the other players and other areas of the team that we're looking at transfers in, of course, we've got the Martial links to various different clubs like Barcelona. We've got Cavani links as well to teams like Barcelona. So he's got two options, essentially. He can stay until the end of the year and then join a football club. Or if there's an offer that comes in for a team in Jan who's willing to pay United a nice fee, a nice cheeky little fee to take the rest of his contract, then Man United might just cash in. But I think Rangnick will be doing his very best to try and keep Edinson Cavani at the club. But Eddie's not playing very much football here. That is a true point. In regards to other news then, so Mason Greenwood is apparently on the radar of Barcelona as well. So, I really don't think that that's legit, but Manchester Evening News reporting that, Greenwood and Arsenal, that he's on the radar of Barcelona and Arsenal. Why have they chosen those two clubs at the moment, mate? That's fucking shambolic, isn't it? Like Mason Greenwood would ever go to Arsenal. What the fuck? That's shambolic. Anyway, Mason Greenwood, I think, is a future Ballon d'Or winner. I still maintain that. Maybe just recently, he's struggled just as a lot of people have in the team. But I still maintain that one day Mason Greenwood will win the Ballon d'Or. I think in 7-8 years' time, he'll be one of the best players in the world. He's just got such natural ability when it comes to putting the ball in the back of the net. And if we nurture this talent correctly, and he's got the right mentality himself, then it's only one way up, and that is to the very top for Mason Greenwood. So just give it a few years, and this guy's going to be the tits. I know, Arsene Holland's Gungshy, what the hell? Yeah, let's not do politics. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Not too much politicky stuff in here. I know this is like intertwining at the moment. Let's face it, there is politics in. We have to bring politics into it a little bit, but avoidable politics. Let's not get any bullshit in here. Hey Pedro, what's going on? Says Piggy, you need an assistant for all your chats. Says Pedro. Yeah, that's a good idea, mate. Are you applying? Simon says, Piggy, even football jersey are made in Germany. If it's Adidas and Nike are made outside the UK, while there are companies in the UK. Yeah, even worse than that, mate. Adidas might be a German company or whatever, or Nike might be an American company, but this isn't made in, this is made in fucking Thailand or somewhere. I've fucking forgotten now. Let's have a look at this one here. I've got a classic old one here, right? So this is Gabriel Heinze, old school, Manchester United vibes. Where is this made? Made in Morocco. This is made in Morocco, mate. Back then, fucking Morocco. So I'm totally aware of that. But, it's kind of like, it's globalization. I understand. But I just think it would be nice for countries to get more independence and less reliance on another country manufacturing things themselves. We always bang on in this country about not having enough jobs. Well, why don't we create jobs by creating an industry or bringing back industries that we've allowed to be sort of be subcontracted out to other nations who can do it for much cheaper. And by the way, often what we're doing as these first world countries, what we're doing by sort of subcontracting this work out is essentially agreeing to pay a lot of people a lot less money than is acceptable over here, which isn't that a humanitarian issue as well? Sometimes these people are working for peanuts over in these countries, producing things in factories and all the rest of it. They don't have they don't have the same, it's a different economy and everything. I get that. But still, like from a moral point of view, isn't that wrong too? Like, shouldn't we just be manufacturing our own stuff and as an end consumer paying more money for it and accepting to pay more money for it because it's been produced either in the UK or somewhere close to home and it's actually been worked on by somebody that is being paid a fair wage to do so? That's what I would like, even if it costs you 3 times as much. I know that's what it's all down to. It's about the mighty buck, though. People just care about money, and everyone's obviously trying to survive. I get it. If you go into a shop and there's a £1 can of beans or a £3 can of beans, you're going to have the £1 can of beans unless you're fucking minted. You know what I mean? So, you know what? I like to have my say on this channel, to be fair. I don't really like to get too political sometimes, but sometimes you just got to lay the smack down. Ian Dawn once kind of says, I look like the look of Haidara, but is it box to box? I still think we need a dedicated CDM. Yeah, but he can still do a defensive job too. He is a box to box player, but he's still defensive minded, physically good and in the tackle, etc., that kind of stuff. Thank you, Gungshi. Thank you, Timothy Young, mate. Appreciate that. This happened years ago, Pig, with Nike paying kids 5p to sew footballs together a day. Exactly, my friend. And they've had to put things in place when these and it's only when they get found out, by the way. Always remember Primark, where Primark had some horrible factory in India where they were making, in Calcutta, paying kids bloody 9p a day or something to make all these Primark clothes. And it's like, fucking hell, until they got found out about it and had to actually, from a moral, ethical, not even a moral or ethical point of view, let's be honest, from a public relations point of view, had to change their ways. It's like if you don't address the problem, it's just going to exist and you're just contributing to it. So really, we should try and, as a nation, support local business. And I'm not saying as this nation alone. I'm talking about your nation too, wherever you're from. If you're Canadian, you should be trying to buy Canadian products. If you're Australians should be trying to buy Australian products if you're Spanish, and so on. So, you know, I just totally think that every country should have more independence within their own nations. Sin Game Story says, my granddad had 3 shops as a kid. As soon as they came here, he sold them all. He said he cannot compete with them. Within 1 year, all these shops were burnt down. Disgusting. They sold us out. Precisely, Sin Games. That's absolutely it. They just knock up these little prefab boxes. They, you know, all these franchises, all these corporations. That's exactly what it is, mate. It's the high street is absolutely ruined. The high street is ruined. It's not just because of the internet. It's not just because of the internet shopping and all that kind of stuff. It's also because of globalization and, yeah, people not being able to compete with I mean, it's a sad day, isn't it, when a Greggs moves to town and a baker that's been there for fucking years and years has to close their doors not long after because they just simply cannot compete. It's like half of their business is now gone. Half the business is going into Greggs to get it for fucking cheaper. And, you know, it's that brand and the national brand. But really, and I'm not hating on Greggs, by the way. You know, I'm not hating on Greggs. I'm just saying, like, that's a thing. Hey, Nathan Best, what's going on? One of the channel member legends here and an absolute thoroughly bloody nice bloke. He says, all right, Pig, shame about the game being called off. I had a ticket as well. Oh, no. That is awful, Nathan Best, lad. So obviously everybody gets the refunds and stuff, I guess, Nathan, eh? But that is terrible. Or do you just keep it and then go to the rearranged game? Or if you have, you've probably got the option. Nathan, that is gashed, isn't it? Terrible news, mate. Hey, only 8 likes away from 100. Smash that thumbs up on the video if you're just getting in here, peeps. Professor Love for me, best wishes to all the time of year, goodwill to all, even United fans. Thank you, Professor Love for me. Come on, let's get a hashtag Merry Christmas in the live chat. Merry Christmas, everyone. Honestly, happy holidays. You know, wherever you're watching from the world, whatever your faith is, just have a great seasonal time. Have a great holiday period, you know, and just, yeah, much love to you guys and yours, and yeah, eat well, be merry, and all the rest of it. Hey there, Mamacini, how you doing, my friend? Eddie, football, waffle as well. Get in there, my lad. Elanga needs to go on loan, says Hayden Scales. Yes, I could see a good few of our players going out on loan. In Jan would be a decent time to do it. Ryan says Greggs at one time were just that local bakery, but then they grew. That's the dream of businesses. Absolutely, Ryan. I know, I totally agree with you. They turned into a national chain. I'm not hating on that, but I'm just saying they did, you know, chains and that sort of stuff, that nationalization or globalization, it does obviously put a lot of people out. And is Greggs even still owned by British owners? Just out of interest. Greggs, who's Greg? Maybe it is. It probably is, to be fair. Who's Greg? But I just want to check because it wouldn't fucking surprise me. As everybody is, yeah, I think they are still British owned. That's good. Greggs sausage rolls are the daddy. They're the daddy. Greggs sausage rolls. I like a Greggs sausage roll. Smash a 1 in the live chat if you're all about that Greggs sausage roll life. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's a shocker. I mean, almost every single UK company has been bought up by a foreign owner and had its manufacturing moved elsewhere. Almost all of them. Like, if you think about, like, I don't know, Cadbury's. Cadbury's, when you think of Cadbury's, you think of that is one of the staples of British society. Cadbury's chocolate, like, that's British chocolate, dairy milk. It's not fucking owned by British people anymore. It's not. So it's owned by Mondelez. I think Mondelez own Cadbury's now. It's like, hang on a second. You know, who else? It's Tesco's. Tesco's. You think Tesco's is who owns Tesco's? Tesco's was started just as a, you know, just as a small fucking, I'm pretty sure. You know what I mean? Anyway, the point I'm making is, you know, it's just all bullshit, isn't it? So Tesco, it was opened up in 1919 in London by Jack Cohen, yeah? I don't even know who it's owned for. The company now is called Tesco PLC. Don't actually know. I don't actually know. Maybe someone will tell me. Oh, okay. I think it is still United Kingdom, actually. Maybe I'm thinking of Asda and Walmart, sorry. But either way, the point is that there's a lot of companies that just get bought and then they move all their manufacturing, they move various things to different places, and it just sucks. I hate it. We're losing our heritage a little bit. But anyway, Griffo Chaz says, of course I turned the stream on and the topic is Greggs. This isn't the usual sort of Man United stream, is it? We've gone off on a tangent. Right, hang on a sec. Let me get into the last bits of football news we got here before I move on. So yeah, just a little bit of Xavi is understood to not be convinced by Pogba. So yeah, I don't think Barca are interested in Pogba anyway because they're fucking skint and he's a super rich prima donna. But there were some talks. Obviously, lots of these big clubs are going to be linked with Pogba. I think he's ending up at PSG in the summer. Where do you think the most realistic place Pogba finishes, guys? Get it in the live chat. I'm saying PSG in the summer. Right, okay then. So that's the latest. The Man United statement. Brighton game postponed. That is the latest news. I'm just going to stick around for a few more minutes in the live chat. Get your last few thoughts and opinions in and smash the like on the vid. Hit the subscribe if you're new and get all that jazz in there. All right, nice one. PSG says Naz. PSG says Naz. New contract for Pog says Ryan. Anywhere but United says Ian Dawn. Hey there, what's going on, Dizzy Red Devil? How are you doing today, boss, as well? Great to see you. Sorry if I missed anybody in the live chat here. What's going on there, Horondo O'Connor? He says, stop making fans come into games simple. Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it, really? You know, that's going to stop the spread also, quite significantly. Yeah, that's going to stop the spread significantly. Why should people be forced to have untested drugs in them, says Colonel Ward? Well, they actually have been tested to a degree. I mean, they have gone through a screening process or like clinical trials. They've had clinical trials for them. So it's not like they just put in untested drugs in people. They have tested them. So actually that's an incorrect statement. But, you know, I sort of see what you're saying. Why should people have to have that tested drug in them? Is probably a more appropriate thing you said. She could have said, but you know what I'm saying? Why should people have to? That's a fair point. Pig SG says Gungshi. Pogba to PSG says Dizzy. Thank you, Pedro. Merry Christmas to you too, my brother. Thank you so much. Lockdowns are not safe. People are going to die of depression. Just look at New Zealand. Ezio, yeah, there's other problems that occur from those sorts of things. That's not avoidable. That's true. He won't go to PSG. Then again, there's other lives that are saved from lockdowns. Did you know? I can't remember the number now. But last year, when there was a lockdown and everybody was at home for work, the amount of road fatalities, which was, I think, significant amount of people, like, is it like 6,000 people a year die in the UK on the roads? Like, it's a lot of people. You might be shocked. A lot of people die every year in this country on the roads. It's like, because of that, there was way less fatalities on the roads. So silver linings and all that, I'm just saying. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you, NK Shooter. Get in there, you beauty. You hope Liverpool lose today, says Naz. Not tested for long-term effects, though. Should be a decade-long trial, says Eddie's Football Waffle. Okay, I hear you. I hear you, Eddie. Yeah, I hear you. You know what we should do, Eddie? We should have basically carried out the trial, gone forward 10 years in time using a time machine to see whether or not it has any bad side effects or not, or they could do a short-term test to actually try and get it out so it stops millions of people from dying. People said it's a rush test. Of course they had to fucking rush the clinical trials and rush the testing. Fucking thousands of people were dying out there, man. You know, well, they're not going to take their time on it, are they? They're going to try and, you want it to be done correctly, but of course they're going to fucking try and push it through, aren't they? You know what I mean? That's the point of it. They're trying to get a vaccine quickly. Anyway, but I know what you're saying, like stringent testing and clinical trials and all that, but they did have those clinical trials and, you know, they did get a lot of data and information from that and they wouldn't be injecting it into millions of people up and down the land if there was a significant number of complications that took place in those trials. Hey, Sin Games, thank you so much. He says, liked and shared. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ian Dawn says, maybe what they should have done is develop the vaccine before COVID existed. Oh, brilliant. Eddie's Football Officers, well, other vaccines have been trialled that way. If people die from long-term effects, then what's the point? I mean, I see your point, but I mean, they did do clinical trials and things like that. I mean, listen, what other vaccines have been trialled that way, Eddie, where they've spent 10 years doing it? Maybe, you're right, maybe, but is it for a virus that is, like an imminent threat, or is it one that's been around a long time that they're working on all the time, so it's like less of a, imminent threat? I don't know. I'm just saying, 10 years to trial a vaccine sounds a little bit, a little bit much. But there you go. I mean, how many people would die in 10 years from this virus if you didn't have it? But anyway, yeah, okay. Thank you, Eddie's Football Waffle, for getting in. You absolute bloody legend. Ryan as well. A lot longer than the outburst 2 years ago. Saw something about COVID in 2001, says Ryan. I think you're thinking of coronavirus. I think that's what you're thinking of. I think that, there's been different types of coronaviruses around. I think that's what you're talking about. But that's not this COVID-19 strain, though, of coronavirus. Anyway, I heard McTominay spread the virus at United. Is this true, says Malps? I don't know. It's probably Slabby Maguire, to be fair. Yeah, well, fair point, Colonel Ward. You never know. Sometimes that could be the case. Often, if there's a vaccine or defense mechanism, then yeah, it can mutate and try and find another way. It's a fair point. The issues is the side effects can take ages to show up, says First Class Gamer. Yeah, true. That's a fair point. It's a fair point. It's not a perfect situation, is it? Where you've got a lot of people dying and you're trying to to get a vaccination. I mean, all I know is I know a lot of people who've been vaccinated, and I don't know any of them who've had complications with it. Okay, in the long term, if we all start growing a second Slabby Maguire head in 5 years' time, we'll all realise we've been completely mugged off by the government. Or if we all start dropping dead of heart attacks. And I get it. There is obviously risk. We don't know. I mean, at one point, this government, was giving, birth treatments to women, and then, I can't remember, in the 1960s or something, and then they realised, oh, no, shit. We're giving everybody no limbs when they're born. And then there was the whole batch for a year where people were born and they didn't have any limbs because they were giving them these, fertility drugs, or I don't know. I can't even remember now. I can't remember now. Formaldehyde or something, is it? I don't know. Maybe not. No. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? There's definitely been fuck-ups from the government. So I'm not saying, I'm not ruling it out. I'm not ruling it out. Yeah, there you go. K-Slater, road deaths in Great Britain decreased 16% in 2020 due to not as many on the road. Exactly, K-Slater. There you go. 16%. And it's significant. That's hundreds of people that didn't die from not being on the roads. Just saying. No forced vaccination is not 1930s Germany. Amen to that, Kojak's Football Shack. Amen to that, man. I mean, I'm vaxxed, but I agree with you. What are we doing next? It's ridiculous. They used to have, what you're going to make people have wear a little piece of, like a little star on them or something to say that they haven't had the fucking vaccine. Is that what they're going to do next, for fuck's sake? You know what I mean? Ridiculous. The thalidomide, that's the one, Gunshi. Yeah, not formaldehyde, sorry. The thalidomide, that's it, man, yeah. Yeah, thalidomide, thank you, Kojak. Yes, I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's definitely been big problems with it, and they've made mistakes in the past. What's the difference between corona and COVID, says Naz? Corona's just a type of, COVID's just a type of coronavirus, I believe. Career mode tonight, please, Pig. You've been putting it off for long now, says Ryan. It's coming, Ryan. It's coming, Ryan. Don't tell me what to do, yeah? Anyway, we're going to wrap up this video now, guys. I really appreciate you all stopping by and getting in here. Not so much of the football chat, quite a lot of the political and COVID chat is kind of to be expected with what the deal is, though, at the moment. But, just try and stay positive, guys. I know it's going to be shit the next few weeks with no football on. Can we have a quiz if there's no game? Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. First Class Game, actually. You offering your services as the monumental Quizmaster Cinnamon? Absolutely, I'm well up for that. Smash a 1 in the live chat if you'd like to see a Christmas quiz. Christmas or near Christmas quiz. Great shout. 007, we can just hope and those future side effects don't end up causing more deaths than COVID. Spot on. I agree with that, 007. Amen to that. You think the silver line is, and it gives Rangnick more time over Zoom to get his message across. Hopefully gives them team mental... Over Zoom? He'll be like, Jesse, get off Pornhub. You have to pin me down to give it me, says Stephen. Fair play to you. The governments don't care about you, says Eamon Barrett. Says, well... I mean, they do and they don't. They do and they don't. Good night, Piggy, says PS. They care about the ones that earn a lot of money for them. PS says, good night, Piggy. What's going on, PS? Thank you very much. Have a great night. No worries, Professor Love for me. FC United Forever says, nothing stopping drug manufacturers falsifying results. They did on the swine flu nonsense over 10 years ago. Well, fair enough. I mean, mad conspiracies coming out in this chat right now, but that, I guess, is true. Don't get me started on Big Pharma. Quizzes and more Don Piglioni will keep us all sane, Pig. Thank you, Gungshi. Yes, we're going to do career tonight. Sam Gaming, you're going to have to just put it back in there, Sam. It's too far up. I'm scrolling. I can't see it, mate. You're going to have to put it in there again. Simon Carrot, Pig has a kidney transplant. Patient, I'm on Enderman suppressants to stop it rejecting. and I've been vaccinated and had the booster. No ill effects, and if it wasn't tested, I won't be allowed it. Yeah, exactly, Simon Cowie. I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. I've had it. I've had the 2 tests, and you know, if you're on suppressants to stop it, rejecting and stuff, and it's, you know, maybe you've got some certain what's the word, vulnerabilities there, maybe, and you're still fine. It's like the amount of people that are being affected by having the jab is very tiny, but it does happen. You can't get away from that. Some people have had a bad, deathly reaction from having it, but a tiny percentage. But there was a woman like not a million miles away from me, like about a month ago, had a vaccine, and like 34 years of age, no health concerns, 2 kids, and she died there and then. So it's kind of like, well, you know, it's not perfect. Like, everybody is different, and there is going to be some outliers whose bodies react differently to it. And so you can't make the decision for people, because you're essentially going to listen. You might be sentencing some. You might. It's a tough ethical question, isn't it? Because you might be essentially sentencing some people to death by making them have it, but you also might be causing other lives to be lost elsewhere. But not really, because everyone can still get it and pass it on, and it's only the unvaxxed that are more at risk. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up and leave it there. Do smash the like button before you go, everyone. Thank you, everyone who's hit the like. Really appreciate you. Yeah, don't go nowhere over the next couple of weeks. You know, come around the channel. We'll still have some content for you. You know, the United news, transfer updates, and all the latest goings on at the club, when the next game will be, and all that kind of stuff. We'll keep you up to date with what's going down. Also, we're going to be bringing back career mode regularly. We're going to be doing lots of FIFA videos. So do keep yourself involved and get yourself in the community and hang around. We got your back around here. We will make sure that no Bacon Brigade member is left behind. Thank you, Rushmano, and also hit that subscribe. Right then, Coda, Stephen, Eamon, Gungshi, Rushmano, Naz, Kaiser, Dizzy, and everybody else, Gungshi Leone, all the mods, all the members, all the legends of this channel, and everybody else who's got in the chat. Thank you so much for being part of the stream today. Do hit the like before you go, follow the channel, subscribe to it, click the bell icon, follow us on social media at Flying Pig United on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Do give us a cheeky little follow up on those. And we'll be back soon with some United news, and also with some career mode later, and Ultimate Team later also. We're going to do a double header, my friends. Take it easy, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. And that's it from me. Thank you to the Super Chatters, Mr. Zaid Miyasi, and also Gungshi and Paul Burgess. Wait, hang on, did I miss Paul Burgess' Super Chat, mate? I don't know if I can even see that anywhere, Paul. Sorry if I did, lad. I apologise, mate. Maybe I did actually miss that. And Gungshi as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, as well, who's tuned in. Right, that's it. I'm going to leave it there. Take it easy, dudes. Have a great day. Come back afterwards. Comment with your thoughts and opinions about any of the topics we discussed. Do keep the debate going after. And have a great day. This is the Pig. I'll be back there. Take it easy. And come on, United. Fool.